2, 3, 4. One more. Okay, we got 5 online. We're good. All right, excellent. Let me see if I get Marco back. Okay, Marco's not here, but he'll be here. So let's just put on the intro, and it'll buy us a little bit of time till the brother comes back. See you in a couple minutes. How's it going, everybody? We had a little bit of a technical mix-up there, but I think we're okay now. Yeah, let me see if Marco made it back. No, we didn't. All right, let me send him a note real quick. Marco Lopor, paging Marco Lopor. Hang on, let me send him a note. All right, how's it going, everybody? Keep your head up. It's starting to get really interesting now. These shows resonate with you, please share so we can stay above these algorithms, although we're starting to not be affected, any of us, by anything that's thrown at us. Okay, let me tell them I'm back. Come back. All right, so Mark will be here in a minute. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. Anytime we have problems, initially we all end up having a really good show. Hang on. Okay. So in the meantime, we'll just talk about a few things. What's up, Demetrius? Long time no see. Hey, Donna Owens. Thank you for always showing up. You know, Michael Abramson. Big love from Washington, D.C. Kristen Nagal from Norway. Who else we got here? Shanine Mullen. And the Mini Moo. Ruby Laura, long time no see. What else we got here? All right. So while we're waiting for Marco to come back, we'll just keep on going with it. Hey, Linda Winger. I want to thank everybody for, you know, these 11.11s and $4.44 and 7.77s and $20 and $15. Man, I don't know how this works. We've been doing this for going on 2 years, and every day we seem to have what we need to make it. You know, this is the 5D vibration, by the way. This 5D vibration and frequency, you don't have security. You don't have what you need for tomorrow or a week from now or a month from now. You don't have millions of dollars in the bank. You don't have, you know, a house full of stocked food. You just have the present, and whatever you need in the present comes to you in the present moment. And we're living proof, and it's not easy. It's getting easier, and more people are building that that reality. You know, I'm not sure where Marco is. Let me try something else. Let me give him. Maybe if I give him a phone call. Let's see if we can get him on. Oh, here he is. All right, we got him. All right, let the show begin. Okay, Marco. Okay, Marco, boom. All right, that ought to do it. Okay, where'd you go? There you are. All right. Okay, you good?
Yes.
Oh my God. And like, we're gonna worry about something like this. You're the perfect You're the perfect one. You're the perfect brother to be talking to this morning. Like, we're gonna have a little bit of a technical glitch. We're gonna start 9 minutes late. Like this is gonna bother us. I mean, we've beat GMOs, chemtrails, fluoride, fear-based programming, subliminal programming. You know what I mean? I'm just in the mood today. It's like, fuck that shit. You know? Let's get the shift on. We got this shift. And it's good to see you, brother. Are you in Italy? Are you in Amsterdam?
I am in Amsterdam, and Europe, as you know, is completely locked down at the moment. So I cannot travel to Italy.
Yeah.
There are no flights that I can use to go to Italy. So everything is completely desert. You walk in a ghost city. Everyone is working from home. Basically, all the restaurants and bars are closed. And yeah, I think what is happening, because everything we see on the physical level as a source in the spiritual level. So what we have seen in the last years is the job that has been done individually.
Yeah.
So everyone has done something energetically to rise his own vibration, and the chaos we are seeing now is just the consequence of this vibration that has been rising individually. And when this new light comes into the three-dimensional frequency, it creates chaos, because it's like you need a period of adjustment until it becomes quiet. So basically, we see the consequence on the physical level of what has been going for the last years. Many individuals have been doing inner work, and this is creating now the dark night of the collective soul.
And isn't it exciting? It's absolutely freaking off the hook exciting. You know,
Yeah.
all this work, all these years, and I've only been at it a few years. There's people out there that come on this show that have been at it 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. We had a lady on the other day. She started hers in the late 60s, the late 60s, you know? And
Yes,
I mean, this is amazing what's happening. It's absolutely amazing. And you know, think we came all this way, and you're so right. We created this. We made this happen. And
absolutely.
actually have done the work and make it happen. And then to even consider the possibility of giving my allegiance or you giving your allegiance to some savior based programming or some institution or some whatever after all this time, when we didn't choose ourselves, and when we got here by choosing ourselves. Why
No,
would we
look,
why would we deviate from that now? You know?
all this phenomenon that we try to analyze, like Q, the starseed community, the light workers, they are just a consequence of the energetic job.
Yeah.
They are not what we think. Oh, we see, if we stop our thinking just on the physical level, we don't understand what's happening.
That's right.
So we have faced our shadows individually, and now the collective has to face the shadow, and that is what is described absolutely perfectly in the book of Revelation,
Yeah.
in all the Bible sentences that are speaking about the apocalypse. What is the apocalypse?
Yeah.
The apocalypse is just the lifting of the veil,
That's right.
because everything becomes absolutely clear, and there is no anymore any hidden agenda, any hidden manipulation, any hidden. Everything has to become absolutely transparent. So, like this is happening for a lot of people individually, and now we have to face this collectively.
Yeah.
Everything has to become clear and transparent, and this can happen only through a dark night of the collective soul, where everyone is obliged to stay, because when you are not busy anymore with the external world, you are forced to stay in your own world and to face your own shadows. it's
Yeah.
it's uh, it's automatic. So it's something that we have to face, and I think we have I mean, if I can see the time frame we are going now, we are in 2020, and we have since 2012 we have like 8 years of individual job that has now created the conditions for this mass awakening.
Yeah.
And then we will have other 4 years of adjustment until from 2024 we will increase the light in exponentially, and this will become a reality for everyone. So
Yeah.
now basically there are few individuals that are keeping the flame without any fear, and all the collective is going through a lot of fear, a lot of there is a lot of people that are afraid, that they see the catastrophic timelines as something that is possible. And of course this is what they mean when they say in the Bible, the wheat is separated from the chaff.
Yeah. Yeah. Where and where that happens the most is in ourselves, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
apocalypse means in the dictionary it says unveiling. It's an unveiling. It took on a different connotation because of the way it was utilized and intended, to scare people and all that over the years, whatever. But the bottom line is that separation is first and foremost in ourselves. And this is what's getting really interesting to me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So now as we know we've done the work, and it is like you said, it has created what we're experiencing and observing collectively. We're also now moving into a different part of the transition where we have to not only hold this space that we found in and of ourselves, to thine own self be true, I am soul, but now we have to observe all this stuff and stay neutral and not blame. It's not about the story. It never has been. All these people that have come on this show, they all have stories of horrible traumas, but they're not the story. It was just a vehicle. And this, what we're observing, is just a vehicle too. This is the most exciting time. I don't have full recollection of all my multiversal experiences, but I got to say, this is the most exciting time the multiverse has ever seen, and we got front row seats.
yes, because everything when we see the real meaning of these terms that we have been using without uh, understanding deeply the concept like apocalypse,
Yeah.
or also the Christ. What is the Christ? Everyone has been misleaded to not understand the real meaning behind, for example, apocalypse and Christ.
Yeah.
Because apocalypse is not the destruction. We have been misleaded to associate apocalypse with destruction, but this is not true. Apocalypse means disclosure, so it's not something catastrophic. It's something that brings light, because light is information, and when you bring light into a system, everything that is not true has to fall.
Yeah.
Is like a mathematical equation. When the more light comes into a system, the more the lies cannot survive anymore. This is what happens.
Yeah.
So basically, the same that we have seen with the apocalypse, that as we have been misleaded to know the real meaning, the same happens with the Christ when we associate the Christ only with Jesus,
Yeah.
and we don't understand that the Christ is the divine principle available in every human being,
Yeah.
and everyone can activate the Christ. So for me, I feel that my mission, my job, I have really to point this concept to the collective. I want to write about this because I think it's important to bring back to the real meaning what they were trying to explain in the Bible.
Yeah.
The Bible has been hijacked as a tool to manipulate, but in the origins they were speaking about what we are living now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And all the and you know, even though even though the ego of man or the lesser God that man can be has affected all the sacred texts, all the narratives, but the truth is the truth is the truth. And through all of this stuff, there have been little clues and hints and synchronicities and numerical uh, significant sequences of numbers, sacred geometry, pyramids, octahedrons. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Oral history from primitives. And the other thing that's happening now is now that everybody's slowing down, they can actually see that we don't even need the books. We can walk down the street and we're being talked to all the time everywhere we go. The universe is speaking to us by every single thing we're observing. And now we're starting to pay attention. I don't know about the timelines in terms of the linear timeline. How long is this going to take? This is, I've seen too many transmissions and too many channelings over the years that have said we hold the key. We have the ability to control and calibrate how much ease and grace and how quick this thing or how slow this thing happens. And I think that part of our magic is found in letting, like you said earlier, letting go of all the reflections that we've created, whether it be Q, whether it be starseed narrative, whatever it is, let it all go. Twin flame, let it all go. Let it all go. And then, you know,
Everything is working to create the great awakening. This is the truth for me.
yeah,
everything from the old lady that is not afraid and is dancing in the kitchen, to the light working doing grid work, or to the everyone is doing his own part in this global rising.
Yeah.
So it's not, we are not here to make definitions, and
Yeah.
I don't like when people try to classify something, because we are all working for to remove fear. First of all, we are all working to rise the collective consciousness. We are all working to live in a better world, to live in a world of peace and harmony. And this cannot happen until we face our own shadows.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've been doing, that's another thing. I think we've been doing a great job. Well, you and I have been doing shows for almost 2 years. I think the first time you came on was about 2 years ago. And if
Yeah,
you
I
right,
started in 2017.
17.
I had my Kundalini awakening in 2016,
Okay. I think
and then
yeah,
we had the first in 2018.
yeah, about 2 years ago. And
Yeah,
and the reason I bring that up is because if you look at every show we've done, we have some kind of connection. I mean, I don't know what it is. Some people say y'all look like brothers. I don't even know, but I just know that whenever we connect, there's always well, if you look at the different shows, what we were talking about at the time, and this is I think achieved through everyone that's involved, everybody that's watching, their thoughts, everybody that watches the replay, whatever. But it's like everything has been so clear. Okay. But if you go to the next show, what was so clear on the last show doesn't even, you don't even have memory of it. It's like, I couldn't even tell you what we talked about. Like part of what's happening is we're being forced to be present in the present,
yes,
each and every one of us, which everything that's happening that we've created is supporting every aspect of ascension, of expansion, of our true nature, of our skills and abilities, our telepathy, everything.
but it's really important also to see how, because every shadow has also a kind of addiction.
Yeah.
So when we are forced to stay at home, for example, we are also forced to remove addictions from our field, because to be busy in this world uh, had become an addiction.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
be busy in order to avoid to be with yourself, that that's a kind of addiction, and everyone was addicted to this, from going to the gym, to the friends, to the bar, to the office, but never to contemplate that is the art that has been forgotten, but is the art that connects you with your higher self.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to rediscover this contemplating nature of the human being.
Yeah.
We have been busy for what? We have been busy for to make money. We have been busy to do what?
Well, the way you're right, everything was set up that if you weren't busy, you weren't achieving. And if you're not achieving, you're just lazy and good for nothing. Everything was based on what could we produce. How many of us worked
Yeah,
16, 18 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, or overcompensated or overgave to family and friends until we had nothing left but enough energy to go take our clothes off, take a shower, and go lay in bed and go to sleep until the next day. Even everything, our work performance, our sexual performance. Oh my God, I'm not a good lover. I've got to, I've got to give my lover an hour of loving. I've got to do this, and you're like a circus seal you're like a circus seal performing.
Because your perception of reality is altered by this mindset of productivity. So you are afraid that you are not productive.
Yeah.
And this is really a virus for me. It's like a virus because it spreads, and you see people living with an agenda, but they don't really know where they are going or what they are doing. So I think it's important that everyone start to realize what we have been doing until today to avoid to be with ourselves.
Yeah. Yes. Well, everything, everything, I say anything that takes your power away, even a little bit of it, to me, it's a program. But another way to put it, it's a distraction. And a lot of this I learned working with Morgan, because that's part of what she points out to people and what she teaches. But I didn't realize how deep the distractions went. I didn't realize that the certain patterns and behaviors that I had were distractions, because I thought they were enjoyable, or I thought they were loving, or I thought they were serving people, but they were distractions from myself, which is the beauty of what we've created now, because we're being put into that universal isolation, and that's where the magic begins, and that's where it really starts to get interesting.
Yeah, and is the ego that pushes always to the distraction.
Yeah.
The ego will do everything to keep you in a state of fear,
Yeah.
to keep you always in a state of blaming the other, or finding another, like also this concept of the savior.
Yeah.
The savior, first the savior is Jesus, and then the savior becomes Trump, and then becomes Q, and then and there is always someone that has to come to save you. But this is another program we have to let go,
Yeah.
because everything change when we take our responsibility to change our inner world.
Yeah.
And when we change our inner world, the exterior world has to change as a mathematical consequence. So we cannot expect anyone that is coming to save. We can create the conditions, and that's how the timelines are created. When the majority of people in and the collective consciousness as a predominant way to approach an event, then you create the right timeline.
That's
So
right.
what we are living is basically this. Now we have to see, it's like a test. Is it ready, the collective consciousness, to live without fear, even if the media are bombarding every single minute about fear? Are you able to detach from
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. Yeah. There is nothing but that middle road, that eye of the hurricane. Marita just asked a question a minute ago. She said, "Is the mission a distraction?" Anything can be a distraction. Anything can be a distraction. I guess what I'm coming to, or what I'm starting to understand, and this is just my own thing, I'm not pushing it on anybody, it's like there's a space of no thoughts, literally, that you don't get to for meditation. You can get there and you can touch on it, but to actually walk around and live and just go about your business, there's a state of no thought. Like,
But that state is reachable
yeah,
only after inner work. You
absolutely,
can you
absolutely,
cannot reach that state unless you have a physical change also,
yeah,
because you need a physical change in your body
yeah,
to rise. It's like the ability to have no thoughts. It's a consequence of the
yes,
the chakras that are opening, and you can feel absolutely bliss, and your mind is not anymore stuck in this labyrinth.
that's
So
right.
that's when you reach this state.
It
But
comes, yeah, it comes as a result of what you're talking about. It comes, right? It
yes,
just comes. It just happens. The chatter goes softer and softer and softer. The distractions, things happen in people's lives. Look what's happening now. People are being removed from their jobs. They're being put into living conditions with people they've probably been inhabiting a house with for years and years that they've never sat and talked to. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Everything
yes,
is right, and as a result, it, these things just start to happen. The body starts to transform, to the light body. The
my
chakras clear.
one
Yeah,
of my friends yesterday from Italy, he is married since 20 years, but yesterday he wrote, wow, I met my wife for the first time in the kitchen. See, she's actually nice. So
wow,
I
that's,
met my wife for the first time in the kitchen after 20 years. They were speaking in the kitchen because usually they don't have time to speak. So
wow, that's powerful, isn't it? That's really
yeah,
powerful. That's a
yeah.
beautiful.
So I see many now. We have this who has no fear as also an important role,
Yeah,
because all the people that are in fear will come to ask you, how can you keep this state of peace even if around you everything is crumbling and falling? But
yeah,
really, you reach this level where what happens around doesn't affect how you feel.
yeah,
So I think those who have done the job before, so those who now are ready to hold the space for the others,
yeah,
they have an important role to show that there is nothing to fear, and we have to go through this dark night of the collective soul all together to rise as one.
yeah. And I did a show with James and Kirsty Greenshields yesterday, and they're a very balanced, grounded couple. Been doing this work a long time. Ex-military. I'm talking. He saw serious action. I mean, all that stuff. And and they said to me, because they're in Australia, which doesn't have a lot of this compared to the rest of the world, and how they're really clamping down. You can't travel, you can't fly, you can't go to work, and all that stuff. And how the people are saying, hey, something's not right. This doesn't make sense. I mean,
Yeah,
and then I said, well, so that's really encouraging. That's exciting. He said, yeah. I said, but it's no longer like telling people what to do. You know what I mean? You need to do this or you have to do that. It's just simply you're just kind of like saying, "Oh, that way. This is
Yes,
the way over here. But what we haven't tried, this is it." And I think it's like, we talked about this in past shows, you and I, that tipping point, the hundredth monkey syndrome, or yeah, you know what I mean. I mean, we're past it. Like this is huge. This is freaking huge. I mean, we could be teleporting, we could be blinking our eyes and having a coffee together in Amsterdam in a month. In a month, it could happen. We could flip like that. There's enough people. I think we've underestimated. If anything, I'll say I have underestimated, and based on what I've seen in the lightworker community, all the people saying, "Oh, the people that are asleep, they're not awake." I want to give the human species more credit. I think we're very awake, and I think most people have just been very quiet about it and scared to say anything.
exactly, exactly. And we have absolutely underestimated in the last years how many people were following
Yeah.
the development of this, but without giving any sign of
Mhm.
participation,
Yeah.
but they were silently following
Yeah.
what was going on. And this is what happens when you have different waves. So there is the first wave that start, and then the second wave becomes bigger, and then the third wave, the fourth wave, until you reach the mass awakening. So it's something that has like a ripple effect. And we have seen this in the last 2 years. I've seen on Facebook, I post basically almost every day, and so many new people coming to ask questions,
Yeah.
to they want to know what's going on, what's happening, because they've been living in a dream world until yesterday, and now they realize that there is something more.
Have
So
you? I bet you've noticed that because I know your story, and I think a lot of us here have the same type of story. I do, and that's when you started coming out. Your family thought you were crazy. You lost a lot of friends, and you just went on and did your work. And then now, I mean, I bet you've had people either message you or make a comment or like something that you've done very recently that the whole time they've been watching and they're just now starting to peek through the curtain, right?
yes, yes, a lot of people that I've been in contact for the last 2 years, now they have already clear in their mind that we are going through an ascension process.
Yeah.
Okay, but a lot of people that were silently watching, but they were always not sure, in doubt, because there was always this voice of the ego telling them, "Oh, this is just bullshit. This is
Yeah.
just crazy people believing in fairy tales." This is this. A lot of people until 2 years ago they were speaking about this as a fairy tale, as something unbelievable, as something not possible.
Yeah.
But now they start to realize that everything is energy, and basically if we rise the energy of this world, we are gonna live in a better world.
Yeah.
That is the the truth. So we have to do this job. How we rise the energy? The
Yeah.
energy is directly related to how we deal with our emotions.
Yeah.
So if
That's right.
we if we are able to deal with our emotions in a balanced way, then we can rise our energy, and this is gonna affect everything.
Yeah.
The I love this sentence from Tesla. He said, "Peace in this world can only come as a consequence of enlightenment."
Yeah.
But he was the meaning was really technical enlightenment. Like he was referring to an amount of light that when is stable here can only create peace.
Yeah.
There cannot be any more war. There cannot be any more manipulation, hidden agenda, slavery, human trafficking
Yeah.
cannot happen anymore. We have been treated as assets, as stocks, so by the elite.
Yeah.
So this cannot happen anymore if the energy increase.
That's right. And I think we and oh, this is good. So however this thing was set up, we can talk about it and say we all set it up together. No, it didn't happen. But we're all energy. And if there's a 1% or whatever, and they've had the esoteric knowledge and controlled us, they sent certain energy patterns out into the realm. Manipulation, superiority, possession, deceit. And guess what we did? Unknowingly, maybe we didn't go and murder somebody, but the energy of that act can also occur from me, and I don't even inflict physical pain. You can murder somebody with emotional abuse. You know what I mean? Mental abuse. So we've
Yes,
caught on to this now. That's how it's shifting. They started it and we countered it. And now we're sending out, and see, this is where I think it's going to get really good. I don't think that I feel that this is why the savior based programming concerns me. Although I'm not concerned because I know it's all perfect. But if something starts to happen, oh, these people got arrested. Oh, these spaceships landed. Oh, technology's been released. Where's our head going to be? Is our head going to be in, is it going to emulate and copy that which we came from in this realm? Or is it going to fall into further alignment? Or in other words, for instance, are we going to have compassion for the people that played the negative roles? Are we going to have compassion and mercy and understanding? Or are we going to say, give them what they deserve, go hang them?
I think
You know?
you cannot reach a level where you see the spaceships if you don't have compassion.
I agree.
So you will not see any Gesara, any Nesara, any spaceship, any liberation unless you do the job yourself, because that is the timeline you choose where to stay.
Yeah, true, true. And we don't know how this thing's made up. We don't know. We really don't know. We don't even know what happens to us after this transition. People may say, people may say, but what do you really know? The only thing I know is I'm sitting here right now talking to you with a bunch of brothers and sisters, creating a vortex of potential and power, and has nothing to do with pain, has nothing to do with suffering. It has to do with creation. It has to do with remixing something new with something
Exactly.
old. You know,
Exactly.
that's all we
Yes,
got.
we can only work on an energetic level to create the conditions for the change.
Yeah.
That's what we can do. And we can do this through art, through music, through writing, through every type of expression of creativity. We can create something new, and this will change the patterns. But we cannot imagine what the military are doing. We can only have news. They arrest someone. Okay, we don't know what's happening in the underground bases. We don't know what's happening. We can only perceive that there is something changing.
We don't even know what's true and what's not true.
Exactly.
We really don't.
Exactly.
We really don't know, because what's the difference between when television came out in the 1950s and was programmed and the internet came out? Do you think that whoever programmed the TV, CIA or whoever it was, didn't have the forethought? Oh, we have an opportunity to control how many light worker websites aren't what they seem. I mean, we could complicate ourselves to death. And I guess what I'm saying is that the bottom line is we control the whole thing. No
Yes.
matter what's being done out there, we control the whole thing. We're sovereign in this timeline. We're sovereign in any timeline, in any dimension. We're freaking multi-dimensional. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means we have access to anything and everything, the highest understanding, the highest love, the highest courage, and the highest creativity, which to me, if you're in creativity mode, everything else gets wiped out because it doesn't even exist,
I feel really this when I write a post. For me, time doesn't exist, and I really enjoy the self gratification of expression of my creativity. So when in the same moment you can do something for the collective and also something for yourself, that's the perfect moment.
That's right. It's one in the
Because
same. It's one in
you
the
are
same.
you are not doing something only for yourself or only for the collective, but you are doing something for both.
Yeah.
You have self gratification because you have your own expression of your creativity, and that is, for me, that is love.
Yeah.
Love. When we say love and light, for me, light is information and love is the ability to express yourself.
And I think we're working that out too. I think that as we become more aligned, there becomes that the what you do for yourself and what you do for the collective become one and the same,
Yes,
because
yes,
we all had egoic programming, we all had agenda programming. We were built that way. But this is what's so fantastic to me. What's happened, like especially this year, is it's almost as if when one of us becomes aware of a pattern, of a behavior, of a reality, of a belief that we had thought was an absolute truth, but it wasn't. When something's happening, when we become aware, a process is started of transformation. And Morgan said that for years. The first step to transformation is becoming aware, but something's quantum now. Something's happening now where things are moving much faster, you know?
yes, yes. And I really discovered that we become quantum when we are able to admit our own shadows.
Yes.
We have the shift in consciousness, and the physical change also as vibration of the body when you see your own darkness, and you can say, okay, this is my own darkness, this is what I have to work on,
Yes.
and if I solve this, I can rise. Because everything happens for evolution. So this is how evolution rewards who does the job.
That's, obviously Morgan and I spend all day, all night pretty much talking about this stuff, And, but like we were talking about it this morning. And, you can only, you can become complicated. It can become convoluted. And it's simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's simple and it seems to be getting easier. And she just said to me, okay, what's the one thing we can all do? What's the best thing we can all do? Inner work. Continue to align yourself. There's nothing we can do that will make a greater, that's the doing for something for yourself and doing something for the collective, which is one and the same thing. That's that. And you're right. The expression of it is also incredibly important. And it's not even the words. It's the frequency that's coming out of that person because
Yes.
they're doing it for themselves. They're what'd you say? Light is the information and love is the expression. So they're expressing that for themselves and the collective, and it's one and the same. And that really simplifies things. That really turns off all the chatter and all the distraction and distortion that's out there that's not even phasing people now. It's like one big false flag to me, you know?
That's the most important job everyone can do to affect the collective.
Yeah.
The expression of his own creativity.
Yeah.
When you are able to show who you are, to be authentic,
Yeah.
vulnerable, that's what is healing the world. And so we increase this in the collective every day, and at the end we reach a critical mass that it can never go back again. It's like a switching point.
Yeah. Yeah. Something's happening. We got up to 144 people. I'm looking at the numbers on these
Wow.
5 platforms. We got up to 144 people. There's like 136 now, but you can't make this stuff up. I went to get my computer fixed. I had to go pick it up yesterday. And two things. One, somehow the money appeared. And two, the guy said, "Oh, it's going to cost a little bit more because I had to order some extra parts. It's $144." And I went, my human went, "Oh my God, that's more money." And then, but the other part of me went, "Man, you can't make this up." That 144 was a message, just like
Yes.
this 144 people coming on this program on the 5 platforms. That's important. That's not a coincidence. Yeah.
And we have to activate the 144,000 inside,
Yes.
because when we read this number in the Bible, they were speaking about the frequency we reach
Yeah.
when we activate the Christ.
Yeah.
So basically, they were speaking about something you can achieve only when you reach that type of frequency that is the Christ consciousness.
That's right. That's right. And how do you get there? There's a million ways, but they all boil down to one thing. Go inside, align yourself, face your shadows, find the darkness. I heard Magenta Pixie say that 2 days ago. She made a 37-minute
Yeah.
YouTube video. Yeah, she made a 37-minute YouTube video, and toward the end, she said something about a lot of people say go inside, but she said go inside, find your darkness. And I was like,
Yes.
yes, that's it. Find your darkness. I mean, I live with a shadow eater. I mean, I've never seen anybody who's so committed to it, but I understand over the years living with her why. Because I've seen what it does. And I've actually seen what it does with friends and clients that she's had when they follow the protocol that she has. And I watch them. I watch them just explode because all that crap gets removed. And I don't think it's the shadow and the darkness that is the block. I think it's the fear of it that is. We're afraid to look at it. I mean, how many
It's the
times?
fear of judgment.
Yeah, how many times have we done something and we go through that door of fear and then we do and go, oh wow, that wasn't bad.
Yes, yes.
It's like
What
stupid.
it wasn't so hard.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. So
Yeah.
you doing good, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I am most of the time alone because we are working from home,
Yeah,
so we cannot go to the office. I do many sessions with people every day. I I work as a intuitive light mentor.
yeah,
So I help people to understand how to control the stream of thoughts and to remove fears
yeah,
in order to balance and to raise the vibration.
yeah,
So I think this is the most important job. Then everything else is just street theater.
yeah, yeah. And that's not to take away from what any of us have done. It's just that what happened in January or what happened in 2019 or what we did then at that time was our highest potential. Let's put it that way. But now it's, you're right, it's a street show. It's just, but we're working through it. We're working through it. And that's important what you're saying because it's not just the traumas and the stories and the victimization that we held on to or the cultural beliefs and conditioning. It was also the downloads and the past life memories and all this other stuff. The human is the hero, period.
Absolutely.
Period. The human is the hero. We are merging our free will with universal free will. How can people get in touch with you? Or you want to put up your links in the comments or whatever you want to put it in the comments. This is also live on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube into the comments there. There's 30 people now in YouTube watching this, you can go and put that in there later under Soldier One Studios channel if you want to put any information out there. But if you have anything you want to announce or anything like that before we go, the floor is yours.
I just want to invite everyone to work on removing fear because this is the most important thing we can do now for the collective. Work on removing the fear. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's it. Right on, brother. It's been too long. We can't wait this long next time. We have to get together earlier. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
All right. Take
Ciao. Bye.
best to you. All right. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you very